together. What was that, the warm-up show? I don't know. I was warming up for myself. So let's take a deep breath together. We are deeply grateful for this time together. We are deeply grateful for spiritual community, for a place to come to share our hearts, to open our hearts and minds to divine mind, to unconditional love, to divine intelligence and wisdom, to know the heart of family, spiritual family, knowing that we are accepted exactly as we are and also accepted as the uniquely powerful beings that we are. Spiritual beings having a human experience. Discovering how to step more fully into our innate divinity. So we let go of everything outside of these walls for the next hour or so. We focus now on our heart space, the energy of us, our beingness, which is love. The energy of us that cannot be contained by these physical bodies, that emanates around us, before us, behind us, above and below us, that affects all that we come into contact with, that signals our presence before we ever enter a room. We let go of the busyness of life, of all of the things there are to do. We let go of all of the hats we wear, all the responsibilities we have to others in our lives, and just tune into our God self. That energy in which we live and move and have our beingness. That holds us, sustains us, vitalizes us, renews us with every single breath. We know that there are no coincidences and that everything that will transpire in this room is by divine appointment. That we are not just individuals here, but that together we are a very special energy this day. That cannot be replicated anywhere else on this big, beautiful blue planet. So we delight in it. We give thanks for it. We say yes and thank you for all good things. We say yes and thank you for harmony and unity. We say yes and thank you for peace upon this planet, for we are the peace we seek. We say yes and thank you for love, for we are the love that we seek. So So we open our arms wide to all the blessings overflowing into our individual lives, into this community. And now, from this very blessed place, we now sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Pretty good, you think? Okay. This is a reading from Conversations with God in Uncommon Dialogue from Book 1 by Neale Donald Walsch. Probably 20-some, or maybe close to 30 years ago, a friend of mine had this book, and I was at his house, and he hadn't read it, and he was doing something, and I picked it off of his bookshelf while he was busy, and he said, "Oh, you can have that if you want it." He said, "I haven't read it." And so I took it home and started reading and didn't stop reading. And so this is the passage that turned me around. This is what touched me in a way that I started to recognize the God I thought existed but had not heard of before then. So, look, if I well up reading this, well, you're used to it. What the heck? What would be different from any other Sunday? The masters who have walked the planet are those who have discovered the secret of the relative world and refuse to acknowledge its reality. In short, masters are those who have chosen only love. In every instance, in every moment, in every circumstance, even as they were being killed, they loved their murderers. Even as they were being persecuted, they loved their oppressors. This is very difficult for you to understand, much less emulate. Nevertheless, it is what every master has ever done. It doesn't matter what the philosophy. It doesn't matter what the tradition. It doesn't matter what the religion. It is what every master has done. This example in this lesson has been laid out so clearly for you. Time and time again, over and over, has it been shown to you through all the ages and in every place, through all your lifetimes and in every moment. The universe has used every contrivance to place this truth before you, in song and story, in poetry and dance, in words and in motion, in pictures of motion, which you call motion pictures, and in collections of words which you call books. I'm sorry, for those of you who don't know, who aren't familiar with this series, this is God speaking to Neale Donald Walsch. So from the highest mountains it has been shouted. In the lowest place its whisper has been heard. Through the corridors of all human experience has this truth been echoed. Love is the answer, yet you have not listened. Now come you to this book, asking God again what God has told you countless times in countless ways. Yet I will tell you again, here, in the context of this book. Will you listen now? Will you truly hear? What do you think brought you to this material? How does it come to pass that you are holding it in your hands? Do you think I know not what I am doing? There are no coincidences in the universe. I have heard the crying of your heart. I have seen the searching of your soul. I know how deeply you have desired the truth. In pain, you have called out for it. And in joy, unendingly have you beseeched me, show myself, explain myself, reveal myself. In doing so here, in terms so plain you cannot misunderstand, in language so simple you cannot be confused, in vocabulary so common you cannot get lost in the verbiage. So go ahead now. Ask me anything, anything. I will contrive to bring you the answer. The whole universe will I use to do this, so be on the lookout. This book is far from my only tool. You may ask a question, then put this book down, but watch, listen, the words to the next song you hear, the information, the next article you read, the storyline of the next movie you watch, the chance utterance of the next person you meet, or the whisper of the next river, the next ocean, the next breeze that caresses your ear. All these devices are mine. All these avenues are open to me. I will speak to you if you will listen. I will come to you if you will invite me. I will show you then that I have always been there, always. And now Miss Lainey.
Good morning. Interesting, 1994, I was in the middle of a horrible divorce, and a coworker gave me that book. It'll turn your life around. So, I'm going to get through this. Okay, this morning's inspirational reading is from Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, and the subject is presence. We live in the midst of an unlimited presence, forever in action, as an unlimited mind. It creates us and it sustains us. It operates through us. All it asks of us is our recognition of it. As we affirm the presence and power of God in our lives, something happens within us to improve us. This can be tested by anyone who wishes to see what will happen when God works in their experience. It requires no advanced study, no educational background, no particular vocabulary or posture. The process of approaching the deity is merely one knowing it is, and that it abides within. What we affirm, we become. As affirm God, we actually become the sons and daughters of God and heirs to all that go and has. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh unto you. There is only one presence, God, and I am in it. There is only one power, God, and it acts through me this day. There is only one mind, God, and it is my mind now. All around me, at every instant, is the same presence that unfolded Jesus. The same mind which acted through him is now in action through me. I am the heir of all that God is and has, and I know it. I live in a spiritual universe governed by a spiritual law that is always working for my good. I am safe, for God is with me. I am wise, for God is in me as my consciousness. There is nothing to fear. God around me, God within me, all is well with me today. And our affirmation, if we'll repeat it 3 times together, there is only one power, God, and it acts through me this day. There is only one power, God, and it acts through me this day. There is only one power, God, and it acts through me this day.
So one of my favorite sounds is an orchestra tuning. Hearing what most people would think are inharmonious sound, playing at the same time, people tuning up, different instruments, different sounds, one may be louder than another, and there's something wonderful about that. Maybe it's because I know what's coming next, and I love when the conductor comes up and then there's automatically quiet, and everybody is paying attention to the conductor, and there's that tap, and then they launch into whatever the performance is. It may be that I love that. It's because my father sang with the Choral Arts Society in New Jersey, and so I associate orchestral music like that with my father. And that was one of my favorite things, was to go to hear him sing. Whatever it is, that particular feeling, that sound has been with me all week, and I think it is a great example of what life is and can be for us. The conductor, of course, is there conducting for the performance and giving cues and letting people know when to come in and striking the balance, and he uses his baton, his facial expressions. Sometimes there are words, and he's there with his sheet music, and everybody is paying attention. But most of the work a conductor does is behind the scenes, during rehearsals, that inner work, the individual work with specific instruments during a rehearsal, helping people know when to come in, what is the right tone or key or balance, what needs to happen when. And so that majority of that work happens way before you get to performance and you're before an audience. So life is like that. I mean, stuff happens in our lives every single day. And it's not unusual for me to begin to think that none of it makes sense and one thing has nothing to do with another. And yet I'm finding out that all of it is related. And all of it is about performance when we go out into the world. That we carry the things that we experience through the day, the feelings, the emotions, the things that we have to do, the things that we pay attention to, responsibilities, our reactions to things. All of that is born out of what we're carrying within us. And so for us too, our rehearsal time away from the world before performance is the most important. What is the inner work that you're doing? What is the rehearsal time that you have, that you use, where you hone your skill before you go out into the world? And who or what is your conductor? Who or what is your conductor? Are you conductorless? Are you letting all the stuff that you have in life dictate how you live and how you react and how you show up? And is it just cattywampus all the time? See, I lived like that for many, many years, where I lived from emotion. And so if I was sad, everything was sad all day long. And it was always dictated by the outside world. I lived from the outside in. I let everything in the world dictate who and what I was. So I might be different with one person than another person because I'm always trying to be what this person needs me to be. And whatever they need, whatever their needs are, I'm trying to fulfill their needs, let alone it doesn't matter what I need or who I am, because I needed acceptance. I needed affirmation from the world. And so the world was my conductor. The environment was my conductor. And it led to an inharmonious life. And so I heard a cacophony of noise all the time. All the time. And it wasn't until maybe close to when I discovered that book. But before then, because I had started meditating before, I ran into that passage that I read. And I started meditating and started to get more quiet within and pay attention to what was happening here with me, and started to live from the inside out. And started to find a conductor that I trusted implicitly, and knew that there was a conductor inside waiting for me to tune in and pay attention. That tap on the stand with the baton, that tap, tap. There's a tap, tap all the time. Whatever your conductor is tapping you all the time to pay attention and to listen. So when I found the conductor, spirit, the divine wisdom and intelligence, I started to listen to that tap, tap. And in meditation, I knew there was a tap, tap, and I knew what that tap, tap was. I knew what the feeling was. When I knew it was spirit, not my environment, getting my attention. So no matter how loud the world was, no matter how crazy and chaotic the world was, I could hear the tap, tap in my heart. And then just like a puppy hears something, I'd go, Doesn't matter what's happening out here. Something is getting my attention. Something is standing here with the arms up, waiting for me to focus. And know, here's the performance, here's the song we're going to sing. That's kind of like a theme for the last few Sundays. We've been talking about this song of life. And what song are you singing? Who's your conductor? What is your conductor? Is it your environment? Or do you switch conductors depending on where you are and what you're doing? You got a conductor at home, you got a conductor at work, you got a conductor where you volunteer, you got a conductor when you're sitting in traffic. Who's the conductor? Who's in charge? Who do you pay attention to? Who's leading the charge? Who's doing this? Who's telling you when to come in? Who's telling you when to speak? Who's telling you when to be quiet? Who's telling you when to rest? Who's telling you when to work? Who's telling you what to work on? Who's guiding the ship? What are you paying attention to? Do you hear a tap, tap, and do you trust it? It's always important what you're listening to. And if you're listening, most of us, like that reading, when God is saying, I've been speaking to you all this time through everything in creation, which I have at my fingertips. Those are my devices to speak to you. And yet you don't listen to me. So bless your hearts, run around, do what you got to do, bump into the world, run into those brick walls. I still love you. It's still all good. But you could have so much more. You could have peace and harmony and love and abundance. You could have all of that. I'm waiting to give it to you. If you'll focus on me and let me conduct from the inside out and let me pour into your life. And you in spirit, you in divine mind, you as divine mind, depending on where you are in your understanding of God, we can then have the performance of a lifetime that will not only feed our souls, but fill the souls of everybody you come into contact with. Everybody will hear that beautiful song. Everybody. And you are the singing of it. We are the singing of it. That's why that passage I read touches me, because it said, I'm following you, I'm touching you, I'm looking at every single thing in your life that is meaningful to you to get your attention and give you what you're asking for. I hear the crying of your heart. That's the line that stopped me in my tracks. That there was something that had always heard the crying of my heart. No longer was it about, have I gone to confession? Did I say the right prayers? Did I show up here? Did I do this? Did I go to Mass? Did I go to Mass on this holy day? Did I not go on this holy day? On this other day? Did I listen to the right music? Did I say the right things? Did I, praying the right prayers? Are you staying away from the prayers you're not supposed to pray? Are you thinking about this person or not thinking about somebody else? It was no longer about that. It was about, be with me, I'm here with you. And I hear you. I see you. How many times in your life have you not felt, seen, and heard? Where you just feel like you're out there in life and you don't make a difference and nobody's paying attention. And nobody knows your heart. How many days have you felt that? How many weeks, months, years have you felt like that? There's probably somewhere There's probably many someone, somewhere, feeling like they've not been seen or heard for a very long time, and right now they're thinking of taking their lives. Living in such darkness. And yet there's this presence, as Glenna read, this presence that's alive and moving in and through and as us, waiting to give you everything if you'll pay attention. So yes, that it mentions the next article you read, or the storyline of a movie, or the next song, or some random happening. That's the tap, tap. I'm here, tap, tap. I'm here. Focus in. Do this. Heard that something's about that thing. So I got my doctorate last year, and I actually earned a master's and a doctorate in consciousness studies. And I received my certificates, but one of them was incorrect. It didn't say Masters of Consciousness Studies. It said Master of Religious Studies, which is incorrect. So I contacted the school, and I said one of my certificates is wrong. So since October of last year, there have been multiple emails back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, I have an email thread that's probably this long to the provost of Emerson Theological Institute about this certificate. And it just wasn't working. And they have said, we've mailed you a certificate, and I never got it. And I said, well, I don't have it. And so they're insisting I have it. No, I don't have it. And so I send another copy of the incorrect one, and then we keep going back and forth, back and forth. So the provost emailed me last week and said, look, I'm going to be in Texas for a while. How about if we get together, you bring me the incorrect certificate, and then I'll take it back, because for some reason the regents who have to sign it didn't quite believe I didn't have the right one. Yeah, I'm just having fun emailing you guys every other week for the last 9 months. So I brought the incorrect one. I get together with the provost last 2 days. And suddenly, it was not about the certificate. In fact, I didn't even hand her the incorrect one until we had finished a conversation 3 hours later. And we had the most wonderful meeting. It's one of those rare, rich connections that you have with somebody. You know, before, I only saw her in passing at the affiliated New Thought Network conferences. She's the one who handed me my certificate when I walked across the stage in October, and we've had maybe 30-second conversations, 5 or 6 of them over the last couple of years. And here we're finally able to sit down, and you would have thought we've been sisters all this time. There are times that 2 of us were welling up with tears because we talked about something that resonated with our hearts. And there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of sharing. We'd been through a lot of the same things in our lives. She might be, I have no idea how old she is. She might have me by about 10 years or so, maybe 15. But she's one of the most alive, sharp, smart, funniest women I've ever known. She just took on being provost of a theological institute. There is no moss growing under this woman's feet. None. She drove from Oregon here. And she's been here for a month, visiting family, doing other business. She's dropping off, they're digitizing files from one of the New Thought organizations. She's dropping them off in other states, and then she's going to drive back to Oregon. How many people in their late 70s and 80s are doing that, living like this, taking on a new career? And I got to sit with her one-on-one. We were just girlfriends talking, having a great time. Spirit was speaking through all of that craziness with the certificate so the two of us could sit down and have a meeting. How many things had to go wrong with that certificate to make that happen? Yeah, all the millions of things that had to come together for us to get together at that time, the last couple of days, and have that kind of an experience together. That's the inharmonious stuff we think is happening. I ranted and raved about that certificate the other day. Poor Quentin, oh my God, now I got to go here, and now we're going to get together, and I got to drive over there. I think I got to go to Fort Worth to meet with her. It takes about an hour and 20 to do that, and we got to do that because these people don't believe I got the wrong certificate. Oh my God, why do I have to go through this? Yes, I did that for a good, I don't know, much longer than I needed to. And probably 10 seconds longer than he wanted to listen to. All the inharmonious stuff. All of that, I believed, was contrived to get the two of us together, face to face, because we would not have had the same experience on the phone. In fact, it wasn't going to happen on the phone because we were emailing. That's how we were communicating. And there was nothing about our lives or anything else in those conversations, in those email threads. It was all about the certificate. The crazy certificate. All the stuff you think doesn't matter, all the stuff that's driving you crazy could be a device Spirit is using to get your attention or get you someplace with someone or by yourself for a magical reason. And so it bears slowing down, paying attention, taking a deep breath. Notice what you're noticing, but notice how you're showing up in it. And can we trust that even though none of this stuff makes sense, why are you driving me crazy? I got other stuff to do. And just trust that perhaps things are unfolding as they should, that perhaps things are unfolding in a way that will blow your hair back. Knock your socks off, whatever. That's why I always say, all is good, all is God. We don't know why things happen in the world. And most of us are walking around shaking our heads now, thinking we're going to hell, that we're already hell in a handbasket. And we're sitting in hell, the basket's burning up. And when's it going to end? When's it going to end? It doesn't end until we get peaceful and we show up in full trust and acceptance of ourselves and of Spirit being in charge in this moment now. That everything is working for good. And we may not know it or see it or feel it, but if we stay in that, if we're in that rehearsal phase with the conductor that we trust implicitly to bring our good, then we can sing a song of peace and calm all the time. I always have people saying to me, why aren't you upset about this or that in the world? Because it's not mine to do. What is mine to do is to be in prayer and meditation every single day, to pay attention to my conductor, to hear that song, to pay attention to the taps, and Spirit's tapping all the time throughout the day. all through the day, all through those devices that I read about, all those things that Spirit is said through that book are at my disposal. There's a tap every moment of every day. And if you're paying attention, you hear it, and you go, oh, this is mine to do right now. This is mine to do. This is mine to pay attention. This is mine to not pay attention to. This is mine to let go of. This is my time to speak. This is my time to shut up. It took me a long time to have a moment of pause between something coming into my head and it shooting out of my mouth. Some of you may also have that problem. If you're in rehearsal time on a regular basis with a conductor that you trust implicitly, then you'll have that breathing time in between thought and speech, or thought and reaction. And then you get to breathe, and you get to not react, you get to respond instead of react, and you get to have peace. And you get to have the calm assurance that what you're about to do or not do is the right thing. That takes all the pressure off. You don't have to figure this out. The divine within you, the divine as you, divine wisdom, intelligence has already figured this out. We just got to listen and heed the call. No matter how strange. And Spirit comes up with some strange stuff. Because if it were rational, we would think of it. If it made sense, we could look at the world and say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do now. And be able to execute it and have it all go right. So a number of years ago, I had to go to my bank to take care of an issue, and the gentleman, Vincent, who was sitting at the desk when I first came into the bank, was waiting there to help me. And so I came in, we started talking about whatever bank business I had to do, and I looked at him, and for some reason, I had the feeling of my father sitting before me. Now, he didn't look like my father, but the way he looked at me felt like my father. So my father had beautiful light brown eyes. And when I walked into the room, his eyes would just dance. I was always golden in his presence, always, always, always. And so I'm looking at Vincent, and I paused for a moment, and I didn't say anything, because, there's a guy at the bank. What am I going to say? Dad, okay. But he looked at me, and he said, fathers and daughters are special. Yes. And he said to me, you are a beloved daughter. A couple of weeks later, so that was in December. So after that, Vincent and I are just in love with each other. And every time I go in, I get to hug Vincent and say hello. And we're now saying I love you when we come in to the bank to say hello. And we didn't care who saw or heard or whatever. They just thought we were weird. So a couple of months later, let me go back. During that exchange, Vincent shared with me that his wife died 5 years prior. And that he was very much in love with her and missed her dearly. We had the best talk, just like me and the provost the other day. So I go in a couple of months later. It's the beginning of February, and I start to hear or feel something about going to get a Valentine's card for Vincent. And I'm thinking, all right, so we didn't have that kind of an exchange, okay? But it wouldn't let me go, And whenever, again, tap, 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 pay attention, go do something. I was, all right, so I go to the card store, and I'm looking around, and the only thing I'm gravitating to are cards from wife to a husband. He's not my husband. I have a husband. And this was not about a card for my husband. This was about a card for Vincent. And I'm thinking, this is really weird. But again, I trust my conductor implicitly. Tap, 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 tap. It was driving me crazy. I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking Valentine's card for Vincent. What the heck? Really? So I'm going because I don't want to hear this message anymore. I just don't. I want this to be done. So I go to the store and I get a card from a wife to a husband. And then, so it's getting up to Valentine's Day, and I got to go. I got to give this card to Vincent because tap, 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 tap is driving me crazy. All right, I'm paying attention, Spirit. I'm going. I got the card. Leave me alone. So I'm fussing the whole time. So I write this card out, and now I'm being told that I love you, you are dearly loved, and I'm always here with you. And I sign it, your wife. So I go in Valentine's Day, and it's getting close to 2 o'clock when they're getting ready to lock the doors. But I got to go in because tap, tap, Spirit's at me, Spirit's at me. I got this Valentine's card. Of course, the bank is full. And I'm thinking, now I'm going to make a fool of myself in front of all of these people. And yeah, Vincent and I had a moment, but we didn't have a Valentine's moment. Like, I don't know what's happening. So I go in, and I'm nervous. He sees me, and he's like, oh, hi, Kim, how are you? Well, I was sweating bullets. February, freezing outside. I'm sweating like a buffalo with this card. How are you? And I said, Vincent, I have something for you. And I hand him the card, and he opens it, and he reads it, and the tears just start rolling. And he looks at me, and he says, Valentine's Day was our favorite holiday. And this year, I was suffering more than usual. I have missed her so much. And he looked at that and he said, look what God did. I still get goosebumps when I think about that. That Spirit spoke, first of all, got us together, and we had that father-daughter moment. And he was willing to say to me what he heard in his heart. So Spirit knew the crying of my heart for my father in that moment and spoke through Vincent, and Vincent was willing to speak it. And so we already had this connection, and so Spirit goes, oh, door's open. I'm going after Kim, because now I hear the crying of Vincent's heart, and he needs a message from his wife, and Kim is the person to give it to him. Tap, tap. We both got tap, taps. As weird as all that was, I haven't bought a Valentine's card for a stranger since then. But it was a tap, tap from Spirit. We got to trust something implicitly. If one of you had come up to me and said, look, you got to buy a Valentine's card for somebody and sign it, say it's from his dead wife, I would have looked at you like you're crazy. What are you smoking today? But because I trust Spirit implicitly and I knew where that tap tap was coming from, I did the crazy thing, and Vincent got to hear something from his wife, who he was desperately missing that day. That's how Spirit works. That comes from being in rehearsal. That comes from listening and knowing that there's a conductor who's got it all figured out. And every single thing that you need is out there somewhere or in here. But it starts within. It starts with hearing and feeling Spirit on a different level, on a level that only you know. Because Kevin's going to hear Spirit differently than anybody else in the room. Jenny's going to hear Spirit differently. So will Linda. So will Amber. Might be the same message, but it'll come about in a different way because Spirit knows what you hear. Spirit knows what your heart needs. Spirit knows what gets your attention when you're paying attention. Spirit knows how to tap you. And Spirit is always tapping. We're just not listening. Because you're so focused on the world, or you hear the tap, tap, and you say, Valentine's card, I ain't doing that. Or like I've said before, oh, it must be a mistap, like he's supposed to be tapping my next door neighbor, and, signals got crossed. I know that's not for me. I have said that. I know you're not talking to me, Spirit. Because that's coming from some other place. I don't know. I know you don't make mistakes, but here's your first one. Get it together, Spirit, and come back. Come back with an answer I'm okay with. Who's conducting your life? And are you paying attention? Because the conductor's out there, waiting for you to pay attention, waiting for you to hone in, just like those musicians who hear and know, hear that tap, tap, have been to the rehearsals, have done everything that they've been inspired to do so they could be their best. Because that's the conductor's job, that we're going to rehearse and we're going to rehearse and we're going to rehearse until we come out and we have the most phenomenal experience together for ourselves and for the people listening. And we're all going to come together, seemingly inharmonious instrumentation and musicians that maybe they all come from different places and none of it makes sense until you come together and you listen to the conductor and you pay attention to the tap, tap, and you've been to rehearsals and then you go into performance and show up in the world with something that blows people's hair back. And yours. Got to be in rehearsal. If you want peace. I mean, you don't have to go there and Spirit saying, bless your heart, look at you. There are as many brick walls as you want to run into. There are lots of baskets running into hell to burn up. And you say, oh my God, going to hell in a handbasket. Here we go. The world's falling apart. Oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Doesn't have to be like that. Doesn't have to be like that. Get off the hamster wheel. Stop focusing out here. Focus inside. And every single time you feel chaos showing up again, go inside. Tune into the conductor. What's now? That silence before performance is waiting for you. Those few seconds between what you're inspired to do and what shoots out of your mouth or what you're about to do, that's the conductor. Tap, 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 tap. Listen. Listen, listen, listen. I hear the crying of your heart. I'm using everything at my disposal to get your attention and to give you everything you need so that you can live joyously, peaceably, in harmony with everything and everyone. Let's take this into meditation. Just breathe, breathe, breathe. I want you to ask the question. I invite you to ask the question. Who is my conductor? What is conducting my life every day? What am I trusting implicitly? What is it that's getting your attention every day? Is it the world? Or is it divine love? What is it that sets the tone for your day? The news? The noise of life? Your list of things to do? Or is it the divine presence that sits and waits for you to open your heart and your mind to it, to sit and listen and feel the peace that is already here waiting for you? What's the dominant voice in your head? Is it the screaming noise of the world? Co-workers? Your supervisor? Well-meaning associates and friends? Social media influencers? Might even be the books you're reading. Or is there a presence that is love, that is peace, that you commune with consciously every single day in rehearsal for life? That enables you to sing a song of living that is beautiful and heartfelt, magnificent, that soothes your nerves, calms your soul, makes you feel seen and heard, reminds you that you are treasured and that you are love itself, and that you have the power. You have the power to handle masterfully anything that comes down your path. That you are the very power and strength that you seek. And that every opportunity is an opportunity to come home to self with a capital S. Just breathe and relax. Everything you seek is within you, and there is a presence and a power that is using everything within this vast world of ours to get our attention and to show us the way, is speaking to us, that hears the crying of our hearts, that knows exactly what needs to be healed and how. That knows what will make your heart sing. That has imbued you with gifts that the world needs right now. That you are an agent of healing, of love, of peace. And without you, something valuable is missing. Something that nobody else can do will not happen. Or must be contrived in another way. So we let go and let God. We let God and let go. Let God and let go. We commit to ourselves now to start each day in the presence, acknowledging the presence that is always there waiting our attention. Let's take a deep breath together. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We delight in the presence and the power that is spirit, in which we live and move and have our being. There's nothing to fear. We lack nothing. We need nothing, for we have been given all of it. And in a moment when we forget, we have only to listen for the tap, tap. I'm here. Tap, tap. I hear the crying of your heart. Tap, tap. It's done. Tap, tap. I love you. Tap, tap. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Tap, tap. Let's do life together. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.